Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
Sleeping positions.
Very important.
Very fucking important.
Mm-hmm.
Can be an argument starter if you're married.
Okay, how so?
Well, let's say that one person sleeps a certain way that takes up more than half the bed, and it's inconvenient for the other person.
I'm trying to think of how someone would take up more than half a bed.
If they're a side sleeper and they tend to drift, and that slowly pushes the other person closer to the edge. Or if you've ever slept next to a pregnant woman, you might as well just fucking sleep on the floor because she moves over at all and your ass is hanging over the side.
That's funny. I never really had that problem.
Oh, really?
Well, both times, my ex and Mrs. Number One Fan, when they've been pregnant, like, they weren't really bed hogs.
No?
Not really, no.
How big did they get?
Pretty big, I thought.
Side sleepers, or what were they?
The ex was kind of back end side sleeper, but she kind of like stayed towards the edge of her bed on her side. Mrs. Number One Fan, she's more like centered of her half the bed. But we have a king size now, but back then we just had a queen.
Oh, see, that's part of the problem is that most people don't have room for a king size bed.
Well, we don't really either, but we put one in there anyways. But even still, with the queen, it wasn't that big of an issue. I'm a side sleeper. I mean, with my back injury, as the healing process has been going through, which is almost completely done, there's times where I have to be on my back, for a few weeks, or there's times where I need to be on my side. And because we have a bed where the head elevates and the feet can elevate.
Oh, fancy.
It's very important that those are in the right position. Otherwise, it causes me lots of problems when I get up in the morning.
Oh, that sounds like a first world problem. If my elevated footrest for my bed isn't in the right position, I wake up with a stiff lower back.
First world problems.
Laugh all you want, but it's true, and it sucks.
Where are we going? I'm a side sleeper. My wife kind of does a little bit of this, that, and the other. I can't sleep on my back, or my tongue will fall into the back of my throat, and I'll either snore, or I'll have sleep paralysis, which is where you wake up kind of, but not all the way, and then you can't move, and it's fucking frightening. And I've talked about that in the past, where I've woken up halfway. You get this sinking feeling, like you're falling, but you're not going anywhere. So I'll have to be like, okay, I gotta suck air in. I gotta snore loud enough to wake myself up, and I'm like, I'm away. Okay, I'm out of it. And then I gotta switch positions.
I wonder if I've had that, because there have been times, I don't know if it was a dream or not, but it felt like I was falling, and like all of a sudden, I'm like, ugh. I like reach my hands out like to stop myself from falling or something.
So you need to have compatible sleep styles as a couple, because if you don't, you're not getting good sleep. You're going to be a bitch the next day.
No, you just need a bigger bed.
I don't know if that's necessarily the answer.
I have lots of room now with a king size.
Well, yes, of course. Fucking A, you could probably build a fort on that thing.
We could. We just need 4 posters.
I think your average couple has a queen. And then I went to college with a guy that I'd also gone to high school with, and him and his wife slept in a full, but it wasn't like a regular full. It was a weird, like, camper size full. And I thought, do you motherfuckers sleep connected butt to penis every night?
Yeah, like, is his dick inside of her all night long? They fit together like Legos?
Well, here's where I'm going with that. For that to work, you have to spoon.
Yeah, because the full, that's not very bad. That's the bed Mrs. Number One Fan had when we first met. And I stayed at her house a couple of times. And there's no room. No. Like, I was constantly touching her. And I honestly can't sleep spooning or cuddling. I can't.
Why
I can't
is
fall
that?
asleep. I think it's because her body temperature becomes that of molten lead, and I don't like that. So It keeps me awake.
Well, here's one complaint that I have, and many women have looked at me funny, and I think you'll understand this. Typically, when you spoon with a woman, you're behind her.
Yeah.
And what's in your face?
Her hair.
And what does hair feel like on your fucking face when it's not your hair?
Annoying.
It tickles. It goes up your nostrils when you
Gets
breathe
on
in.
your 2-day beard, and you try to move your head, and it's like sliding across your hair.
You know, you open your mouth to take a breath, and next thing you know, you're like getting hairs in your mouth. And I don't understand why women don't become more sensitive for their partner's sake about tying their hair back or doing something, because nobody wants to sleep with their face mashed in a fucking wig of hair with that shit tickling you. It's fucking stupid. And that's why I have always argued that it's better for me, personally, to be the little spoon, because then she's holding on to me and I don't have any fucking hair. Because if you sleep, and it's called male spooning, where the male's the big spoon, I almost have to like put my body up against her and then cock my head back at this unnatural angle, like I'm sleeping in a handicapped sign person position. To keep my face away from the fucking hair. I hate that shit.
I scooch up so our heads aren't even with each other, so my head's just a little bit higher than her.
How does that work? Because your wife is taller than you.
She's taller than me. So at that point, like, I don't know if it's really spooning, because like my mid region is like in her lower back area.
Dude, that's like she's giving you a piggyback ride.
Almost.
You're Smeagol on the back of one of the fucking hobbits. Or it's kind of like Master Blaster from Mad Max.
Yeah, but I mean, if we do normal spooning where our heads are kind of even and all that, like, I can't help it. I'm behind her, you know, it's like, is she going to be in the mood, you know? Kind of grind a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I can't help it.
Yeah, see, I'm taller than my wife by like 6, almost 7 inches taller than she is. So when we spoon, if I want to poke her with my boner to see, you know, if she's into the mood, I have to like scoot down and almost like hook it up. Here's why this is coming up. I saw this fucking article while rifling through Yahoo News today. And it's from a UK study. It says, if you sleep in this position, you're more likely to divorce, a survey says.
Is it where your feet are at, you know, head feet, like you're inverted?
No, that would make sense, unless she's got smelly feet like my wife. And I'm sure she's super happy that I'm saying that. But not as bad as the Beast. She had terrible, terrible foot odor.
I've never noticed any odor between Mrs. Number One Fan or my ex, honestly.
How much foot smelling do you do?
Not a lot, but I've never noticed anything. I mean, like, I can smell it when my teenagers got smelly feet, or if my feet are smelly on the off chance of that once every few months I get a bad foot odor for a day. But, I mean, I've never been like laying there. Oh my God,
like, go wash your feet.
Smell. Yeah, I've never been like that with any of my significant others.
I had a sneaking suspicion about what this story would say, and I'll skip right to the good part. According to recent research on straight couples, there is one specific position that may signal that your marriage is in trouble. The female spoon, when you're both on your sides with the woman spooning the man.
Why would it matter, really?
Basically, you're not holding on to her for security. You're forcing her to hold on to you. But I do it for, you know, logistical purposes of not having fucking hair in my face. I'm not going to go out and date a skinhead chick. Yeah. And most women with short hair aren't attractive. Let's just be frank. If you're a woman and you constantly have short hair, you are either a lesbian or you're not attractive, on average.
Let me send a text to Mrs. Number One Fan really quick. See if we've ever done the I'm the little spoon thing.
Well, no, it wouldn't be the little spoon for you. She's bigger than you, so it's like Bruno carrying Oscar the Grouch in his can.
No, it'd be like it's supposed to be. Like, I'm supposed to be bigger than her, so she can be the litter spoon. It's the other way around. So she sent me a message back.
Yeah.
She just said yes. I know, like I said, there's the times we've done it, but I don't think we were like fell asleep that way.
Anyways, so that position, they say, is an indication that something is disconnected within the relationship. When it comes to the woman doing the spooning, it could, quote, signal concern for the marriage, wanting to hang on, trying to show love and care for their partner, and or fear in what was happening in the relationship. Does that not seem like a classic overreaction? Like you're reading way too much into that shit?
Yeah, that's what it seemed like to me. Like, okay, so like if I'm laying on my back and my wife decides she wants to cuddle up to me so she can play with my chest hairs or whatever, is that like, well, you're not spooning, because it's not, but like, am I like, you need to hang on to me for, I mean, what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. It means she wants to cuddle up next to me and I don't want to cuddle at all.
Well, it's important that I should note that the author of this study is a woman, so that's why you should look at it like it's, you know.
Oh, so there's no logic involved in
bullshit.
this.
It's like
it's all feelings.
So let's look at some of these fucking stupid positions here.
Yeah, how many different positions are there? Because as far as I know, there's back, stomach, left side, right side, and spooning.
We've got the leg hug.
What the fuck?
It looks like two people that are facing each other and they've got their legs intertwined.
It looks like they're having sex and they can't figure out where things go.
Back to back, not touching, also known as the how I sleep most nights, because if you touch me, I wake up.
Yeah, we sleep usually facing opposite directions.
The space hog, otherwise known as sleeping with the beast. As you can see, there's a gentleman who's taking up most of the bed. So just change him to a really bitchy half-Israeli broad with substance abuse issues complaining about me hogging the bed while she's actually hogging the bed and stealing the blankets.
See, if there is bed hogging, which is not, it's kind of rare, even on the smaller bed, it was always Mrs. Number One fan stealing most of the bed.
Yeah.
And the fucking sheets.
Well, I've been accused recently of being a blanket hog, but when I roll over, I push the blanket up so I can turn, and then I hug it again once I'm turned, not so that I hug it and then turn and yank it from her. Plus, we each also, and I recommend this to every married couple, have your own fucking comforter on the bed.
That's what we've been doing the last couple of months. She's got her own comforter, plus a quilt, plus a foot heat warmer thing
Jesus
that's underneath
Christ.
her. She claims she gets really cold at night, but I swear to God, you touch her body and she gets really, really warm. But she says she's cold.
Is she part reptile?
I don't know. I mean, she's made some growling noises at certain times, but I just thought that was, a dream.
A dream?
Okay, I
the
thought
inner
maybe,
demon was going to crawl out of her soul and devour you like a mantis?
No,
Yeah.
so I lost my train of thought there.
Blanket, body heat.
Yeah, so when you talked about you pull the blanket over her, she got so bad at blanket thievery. I would grab onto my little 2 foot by 1 foot section of blanket, and I'd be like, "Arr!" And I'd use all my fucking body strength to pull the comforter so I could unwind it from her so I had some.
Yeah, see, that's ridiculous. Here's a few more. The soldiers, which is two people sleeping on their back, not touching each other. The female nuzzle. Here's a guy on his back with the woman laying on his shoulder.
That's what she does to me, yeah.
That's a cuddling position. That's not a sleeping position. Because if I fall asleep and somebody else is sleeping on one half of my chest, guess what? When I wake up, the other side, when I breathe deep, that lung hurts because it's been doing an additional 50% of work for the pressure on one side of my fucking torso.
See, when we try falling asleep like that, when she's nuzzling to me, usually within 20 minutes, maybe a half hour. I mean, I don't look exactly at the clock. I'm kind of like, all right, and I pull my arm back over to me, and I kind of roll over because there's no way I'm going to sleep all night long like that. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't really be touched while I'm trying to sleep. And it's not like a nervous thing. It's just, it makes me awake and
No, that's
whatnot.
your DNA. That's your DNA because cavemen would wake up multiple times during the night, and they were hyper alert because they needed to be because of predators.
Okay, well, I think we're well past that period of time.
We're not. Here's one. Here's another position. The unraveling knot. Two people laying on their side, facing each other. They're just holding hands.
We do that.
I do that sometimes.
I can't actually fall asleep that way because it's just our hands.
Yeah, here's the male spoon.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, now notice how his head is not by her head.
It looks like he's a good 8 to 10 inches away from her head.
At least. And he's a black man, so he probably is a good 8 to 10 inches. The fetal position, it just shows two people sleeping back to back, curled up in balls. It's fucking stupid.
It just shows their legs.
Well, the male nuzzle, this is where she's on her back, and basic bro beta cuck is fucking nuzzling up into her neck and holding on to her for security because his dick points downward at all times.
Can't say I've ever cuddled up to her in that fashion.
It just seems fucking weird. It's like you're a kid cuddling with your mom.
I feel odd enough.
Toddler.
I mean, when if we have her, female spooned, like I said, I don't think it was ever more than a couple of minutes.
Because you were afraid she was going to credit card you?
No, no, I think it's just oh, cuddle up, let's cuddle, and it's like, I don't want to cuddle. And she'll cuddle up to me and she'll spoon me. But then, not too long later, like I said, I've never done it seriously.
Seriously? What a
It's
weird
not like we tried
adjective.
falling asleep like that.
Oh, look at this one. The tangle. It's two people. They're practically sleeping half inside of each other. I don't know how that
two
works.
people having sex.
It could be.
Swing!
Face to face, not touching. I guess.
Also knows I rolled over at the wrong time.
Yeah. They're laying there. They're looking at each other. They're smiling. This is a photo op. The sheets are white. The pillowcases are white. Their clothes are white.
Their teeth are white.
Their teeth are very white. They are not white.
Why?
What do we got here? Back-to-back touching. See, that makes sense.
No, I hate that.
You put your butts together, and then the dual fart action generates enough heat to keep you both warm all night.
That's not funny.
Why? Do you have a story where you are... Something bad happened and the wife shit on you, or what?
She's farted on me on a few occasions, and I get very angry every time she does it.
Why?
It's not like she held me down and farted on me like a bully, but like we'll be cuddling, you know, I'll be right next to her, and all of a sudden she just lets one rip, and I'm like, I'm right fucking here. I'm within an inch of you. Come on.
Okay, I'd just like to point out that your wife said, and I quote, "Oh, I love anal." So why is her butt being anywhere near your butt a problem, but you being inside her butt with your penis not a problem?
That's a totally different situation than being farted on.
Okay, what if she farts while you're fucking her up the poop chute?
I don't know. I haven't had that happen.
Okay.
Be a bit of a mood killer.
Yeah, well, maybe. It might tickle. You might like it. Another question as I dig deeply into your bedroom life. When you're going back there, are you wearing a rubber or anything?
Mm-hmm. I'm not stupid.
I was going to tease you incessantly if you were bareback in your wife's stink hole, and yet at the same time talking about how gross it is to pee in the shower. Because it's like when you pee in the shower, it's right in the water.
Sorry,
and it's
but
your
you're
own pee.
standing in it.
And it's going down the drain. But if you're
no.
fucking somebody up the anus without protection, you're getting fecal particles down your urethra, and that's never a good thing. Here's another sleeping position. Face-to-face cuddling. Look at how close they are. They're holding hands, they're nuzzling each other's hands. He's thinking about that other chick he's banging. So there's your answer. They've named 13 different sleeping positions.
Some of them are kind of the same.
Yeah, kinda.
Like facing each other but not touching. Facing each other but touching. Facing each other and your faces are really close to each other. That's nitpicky.
What about you're sleeping on your back and then she crawls half on top of you to try to suffocate you with her tits? What do you call that one?
Wasn't it what they said in there? The nuzzle?
No, because she's elevated now and her breasts are directly over your eyes.
Oh.
Which means the under boob is blocking part of your airway and you're smelling the essence of her middle torso, which is hopefully washed.
When she ever does that, I'm usually like starting to lick and nibble and everything else, so she'll either go with it or she'll back off. I don't let her try to smother me with her bosoms.
I like to wear tits like a mask.
I don't mind it, but if she's going to put them there, she knows they're going to get tasted.
Tasted. I hope that's not your technique, because that sounds like a fucking iguana on somebody's boobies.
Oh, no, it's not my technique.
Oh, ew.
I'm glad I could finally solve the mystery of your short round in her Temple of Doom. Now we know that you're not, coming out with a fucking chocolate banana. Interact with the show on Twitter, What Do We Call It? That is What Do We Call It? You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm Jmann.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
And that's the end.